Hi, good evening. Welcome along to the Transfer Show. Deadline day very nearly upon us, and we're gearing up for a traditionally frantic final 30 hours. We're also live to Anfield, the Etihad and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as we build up to another potentially significant night of Premier League football. And our cameras are just about everywhere as we aim to capture every detail of every deal. Yep, as promised, every deal. Breaking news. Dharmesh, what have you got?
Yeah, in the past few moments, it's to do with the Chelsea striker Armando Broja. Well, you remember that Wolves had a straight loan offer rejected by Chelsea yesterday. Well, Fulham are trying their luck now. They have expressed an interest in Armando Broja from Chelsea, but currently Chelsea's conditions are too expensive. There is a significant gap between what Chelsea would want and what Fulham are prepared to pay. We do know that Chelsea would consider offers provided there was a permanent element in any kind of deal, be it this month or whether there would be a loan with an obligation to buy in the summer. So there's definitely one to watch because, as we know, we've been talking about it throughout the window with regard to profitability and sustainability rules. Armando Broja, if he was to be sold by Chelsea, and we think that they want in the region of £50 million for him, that would represent pure profit when it goes into the accounts when you talk about PSR. OK, right. So Gary O'Neill is hopeful Wolves can bring in a striker before tomorrow's deadline. They'd been linked with Broja this month. O'Neill, though, revealed that won't be happening.
Not on Broja, no, nothing. Won't mention any sort of names or talk about any other teams' players. We are still looking for a 9. Still some things ongoing that we might be able to get done before tomorrow. But as I say, we'll have to wait and see things. You know, I was very confident a couple of weeks ago and then a few things changed. And as I sit here at this moment, there is still an opportunity that we'll be able to add in that area.
OK, Dharmesh, it's not Broja, so who is the striker they're trying to bring in?
Yeah, Gary O'Neill, to be fair to him, he's been pretty open in the fact that he has been saying that Wolves do need to strengthen up front. And it's been pretty obvious. They've allowed Fabio Silva to go on loan to Rangers. They've allowed Sasa Kalajic to go on loan to Eintracht Frankfurt. We know the Broja deal came and went very, very quickly yesterday. The player that they are now targeting might be a familiar name, actually. He's from Corinthians. His name is Yuri Alberto. He's got 1 cap for Brazil. And if you recall, last summer, West Ham United came very, very close to signing Yuri Alberto from Corinthians. That is the player now that Wolves are in talks with. Talks are continuing between Wolves and Corinthians over a potential loan deal that would see Alberto go to Molineux.
Feels like things are just beginning to bubble up. Now, Erik ten Hag has insisted there is no problem with discipline at Manchester United, despite Marcus Rashford's night out in Belfast, which resulted in him missing training. Well, yesterday, we reported that Rashford is on a collision course with the manager and also Ineos. But ten Hag said today that the matter has been dealt with.
He has taken responsibility, and for the rest, it's an internal matter. Case closed.
How's his reaction been, though, around the training ground, and because he's in the squad against Wolves, I presume?
But they said, case closed.
I appreciate you saying case closed. What does it say about the respect that players have for you?
It's nothing to do with that. So, but as I said, let's focus on the game and let's move on. I think the statement is clear, and we have to focus on winning football games.
Do you think you're imposing the right discipline on your squad?
Nothing to do with that with me. But in football, you need discipline, and that is on the pitch. But yeah, also off the pitch, because also there is a line between. So when every player knows this, every professional knows this, what is required.
Once again, Erik ten Hag putting out fires, Dharmesh. Is patience wearing thin with Rashford?
I'm not sure it's wearing thin. This is not the first time this has happened, of course. He's been disciplined twice before by Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. And we do know that Erik ten Hag, his issue has always been discipline. We've seen how he's dealt with the Jadon Sancho situation. He had that issue with Cristiano Ronaldo as well. Now he's had a few issues with Marcus Rashford. I think he's trying to relay, I'm the boss. you can't step out of line because you will get punished. And from the outset, he said, this is an internal matter and I will deal with it. And of course, we knew what was going to happen in the news conference today. He was going to be peppered with all of these questions. All he could do is say, it was an internal matter and I have now dealt with it. This discipline is only going to go to another level, though, when you hear about what Ineos want to bring in to the football club as well. They are employing and recruiting top down at the moment. We know that they've brought in Omar Barada. Once they brought in the sporting director, the recruitment team, I think everybody is going to be on their toes at Manchester United, the players and the manager and the coaching staff as well. OK, all right, he's dealt with that. Let's deal with a couple of transfer stories. All right, a couple of deals could go through tonight, Dharmesh. Morgan Rogers from Borough to Villa. How close are we? This is close now. Morgan Rogers has been having a medical at Aston Villa today ahead of completing that transfer from Middlesbrough. We think that Villa will pay an initial £8 million to Middlesbrough, but that could rise to £16 million depending on performance-related add-ons. Now, this is a good deal for Middlesbrough. They only signed him in the summer from Manchester City for £1 million, and as is Manchester City's way, you can bet your bottom dollar that they would have inserted some sort of sell-on clause into Morgan Rogers' sale to Middlesbrough, so they'll be making a little bit of money out of that as well. But Middlesbrough doing really, really well out of this deal, potentially could rise to £16 million, but it's an initial £8 million for now. And another deal close, a midfielder on his way to Palace. Yeah, that's right. This one didn't look like it was going to happen. Jean Dal Thomason, the Blackburn manager, was pretty happy that Blackburn was saying no to Crystal Palace with regard to Adam Wharton. But now that deal has been agreed. He's been continuing his medical today, has Adam Wharton, with Crystal Palace. The deal could be worth, in total, £22 million. That would see Palace pay an initial £18 million for Wharton and an extra £4 million in performance-related add-ons. What do we know about him? He's an England under-20 international, and he's made 16 starts in all competitions for Blackburn this season. And we do know, given the injuries that Crystal Palace have had this season, the midfield was a big priority for Roy Hodgson. All right, Dharmesh, I'm going to break away from transfers just for a moment. Lots of great football tonight. Now, Liverpool will be hoping to put the off-field noise surrounding Jurgen Klopp and some of their key players to one side tonight because they have the chance to restore that 5-point lead at the top of the table with a victory over Chelsea at Anfield. Vinny O'Connor is there for us. Hello, Vinny. Is there any chance that all the uncertainty surrounding Liverpool this week could have an adverse effect on the players tonight?
I don't think so, Mike. I didn't see that at the weekend. I don't expect to see it this evening. What we didn't see, of course, ahead of that game against Norwich was Jurgen Klopp mentioned in his programme notes about his decision to leave at the end of the season. That's because the announcement effectively came a little too late for that. However, he does speak about it this evening. And in the programme, he says, "My foot is still very much on the gas, and it will be until the final minute of my final game. In the way they have acted, spoken, and most importantly trained and played, the players are in exactly the same mindset. So, as I've said, nothing changes. Our ambition, standards and beliefs are no different." He goes on to say, with regards to tonight's game as well, this is definitely an occasion to forget that the manager is leaving at the end of the season and to do everything that we can as a collective to make it as uncomfortable as we possibly can for a really strong opponent. So, Jurgen Klopp effectively reaffirming his commitment between now and the end of the season. Virgil van Dijk, of course, this week has reaffirmed his commitment to the club as well. There have been some conjecture with 18 months left on his contract and following comments from an interview in the week that he'd be looking to leave along with Jurgen Klopp at some point as well, or following Jurgen Klopp's departure, I should say. But it's quite nice tonight that Mauricio Pochettino is the opposition manager, given he was the opposition manager when Jurgen Klopp took charge of his first game for Liverpool as well. And it is significant in terms of the title race. As you say, Mike, Liverpool have got that opportunity after Arsenal asked the question last night, beating Forest, to stretch the gap out to 3 points. Manchester City have the opportunity to join Arsenal on 46 points as well, of course. Then before City face Brentford in the Monday night football, then Liverpool, Arsenal, or both could drop points here in the late game on Super Sunday as well. That shows the significance of tonight in terms of the title race, but also the significance of the next round of fixtures in terms of the title race as well. It's all bubbling up very nicely.
Oh, isn't it just, Vinny? This is what we love. Vinny O'Connor, thank you very much for the moment. Right, back to those transfers. It feels like it could be busy for Nottingham Forest, Darmish. Am I right?
I think you've been asking that question every single transfer window, given the number of players that they've signed. But they are definitely in the market for a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper that they are looking at the moment is Crystal Palace's Sam Johnston. Now, he's in a bit of a dilemma at the moment. I don't think he wants to leave Crystal Palace, but he wants to make sure that he's in the Euro 2024 squad with Gareth Southgate for England. Now, if you go back to December, he got injured in a Premier League game when they lost at home to Liverpool. He has since returned from injury, but Dean Henderson has kept his place in goal. So currently, he is the backup to Dean Henderson for Crystal Palace. Now, Palace don't want him to go either just now, but we are told that if a bid of around 12 to 15 million pounds was to come from Nottingham Forest, then maybe that could tempt Crystal Palace to the negotiating table. But that is easier said than done for Nottingham Forest. Remember, not too long ago, they were found in breach of profitability and sustainability rules. It would seem that they might need to sell players before they could bring players in. And against the backdrop of all of this, there's the potential sale to Lyon of Aurel Mangala. He actually started that game against Arsenal last night, and with only a couple of days left in this transfer window, but he could fetch in excess of £20 million. If that deal was to happen, then maybe Forest could go to Crystal Palace with a tempting offer to bring Sam Johnston in. But as it stands, Palace don't want to sell. Sam Johnston, I don't think, wants to leave Palace just yet.
OK, what about some others who might join Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, there's a possibility that Giovanni Reina is he's scheduled to have a medical with Nottingham Forest ahead of an initial loan move from Borussia Dortmund. There was quite a lot of competition for Reina's signature, but it looks like Nottingham Forest have won out. There's an option to buy Reina in the summer, and we believe that fee could rise to around £17 million. Another one to look out for as well, this one probably for the future, is that Forest are after the Sporting Lisbon striker Rodrigo Ribeiro. Advanced in talks between the two clubs for Ribeiro. He's 18 years old. He's a Portugal under-20 international. He's just made 7 appearances so far for Sporting Lisbon, but Forest have seen enough potential to try and sign him in this transfer window. OK, well, I've got some good news for you Bournemouth fans, because it sounds like Dominic Solanke is staying at the club in this window. Now, reports in some newspapers had suggested he could leave for Tottenham. That was news to Andoni Iraola, though.
No. I know nothing about this, so I hope it's the same way in the next 2 days and it finishes like this, but I have no news about this, and the same way I told you in the summer, I don't expect nothing to happen with Dom, especially, no?
I've got a bit of breaking news for you. Blackburn, but it's not Adam Wharton. They've confirmed the signing of Kyle McFadzean from Coventry on a free short-term deal on the end of the season. See, I can do it as well. There you go, bit of breaking news. All right, loads more to come when we come back. We will talk WSL. We will also go and see what Manchester City are up to, because their captain, their legend, their leader is back with his Burnley side. That and more to come. See you in a moment. Hello again. It is deadline day for the WSL. The window closes at 11 o'clock. Ellen Allard is here with the very latest. Ellen, what's going on?
We are finally seeing some movement. It's been a bit of a waiting game. Angharad James, the Welsh international defensive midfielder, has put pen to paper, made a permanent move to Seattle Reign, formerly OL Reign. From Spurs, they bolstered their squad over the course of this window. So not a surprise to see someone leave Spurs, but she had started 11 out of 12 WSL games this season. So a potential surprise there. Someone else who's made a move to the NWSL is Canadian midfielder Jessie Fleming. She's joined Portland Thorns from Chelsea. Someone who the Chelsea fans aren't going to want to see go. She won 7 major trophies with them. Also won the Olympics with Canada during her time at Chelsea. But this is a move that works for both player and club, particularly for Portland Thorns. They've also got Christine Sinclair, legend of Canada, all-time leading international goal scorer and someone who's been a real mentor for Jessie Fleming. So seeing those link up again will be nice. Chelsea have also loaned out young defender Keris Brown to Watford. So that is everything that has happened over the course of the last couple of hours. OK,
now I've been watching you and Anton all day. I know that Manchester City want to get busy, but the deadline, I say, is 11 o'clock. Have they got time to get deals over the line?
Yes, I think so. Plenty of time still to go. We've already seen 2 departures from Manchester City this window so far. Dana Castellanos, Julie Blackstad. We're waiting on confirmation of the signing of Laura Blinkhilde-Brown from Aston Villa. Her medical's done. There's a fee of around £200,000 there for the England Youth International. She's just 20 years old. Looking potentially for a replacement for Jill Roord, who's out with an ACL injury. Not like for like, but someone who City have had eyes on for a long while. They see a lot of potential in. Another young name is Tara O'Hanlon, Ireland international, just 18 years old. She's a defender. They've been looking to bolster and strengthen the depth of defence. Another player that they'll want to develop and bring through the ranks as well. She's had a trial at WSL clubs. She's also got a lot of eyes on her from other WSL clubs, but someone who we think City have won the battle for signature-wise. Someone else who's gathered a lot of attention from other WSL clubs, but City particularly keen on, Poppy Pritchard, 18-year-old forward, England under-19, currently at Durham, who City played in the FA Cup just a couple of weeks ago. She came on as a sub, really impressed. There was a huge gulf, obviously, between the Championship and the WSL, but Poppy Pritchard came on and impressed a whole lot. So someone who has got a lot of attention around them, but City will be hoping that they can get the signature of.
Ellen, I know you're going to keep us right across it right until the deadline for the moment. Thanks ever so much. Right, now, Tottenham have been one of the busiest clubs this month in the men's game. They played Brentford, who, of course, have held on to Ivan Toney. Well, James Cole is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for us. James, very good evening. So, are we going to see James Maddison? And we know he played against City in the FA Cup. Will he start tonight?
Evening, Mike. Yeah, he's in line to start. Maddison, he's not started since November the 6th. An ankle injury has kept him out of the side. He came off the bench, as you say, on Friday night against Manchester City, but Postecoglou in his press conference yesterday said he is in the squad and he is set to start. That would be a huge boost if he does return to the starting Tottenham lineup, because he's so integral to the attacking philosophy that Ange Postecoglou employs here at Spurs. Ange Ball, if you like, particularly as they're missing Son at the moment at the Asian Cup as well. Remember, Spurs are now out of both domestic cup competitions, so the league is their only chance of ending their 16-year wait for silverware. Many think that's unrealistic, but a top 4 finish, a Champions League place, is certainly in their targets, and a win tonight could put them into the top 4 places. As for Brentford, their 3-2 win over Nottingham Forest last time out ended a run of 5 consecutive defeats in the league. They've been in a real rut, but Ivan Toney's return sparked a bit of a revival. His free kick, his controversial but clinical goal, has given Brentford fans hope that they can climb back up the table. Remember, they finished 9th last season. They should be wary tonight, though. Spurs have only lost once in 9 Premier League meetings against Brentford.
All live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thank you, James. Right, back to the transfers. Dharmesh, West Ham, are they going to be busy?
There's lots of noise just now at the moment with regard to West Ham United, potential incomings, potential outgoings as well. Said Benrahma is a live one at the moment. We now understand that Said Benrahma is in talks with Lyon over personal terms. That's after Lyon and West Ham had agreed a deal. It's a loan until the end of the season with an obligation to buy in the summer. That total deal, including the loan fee and the obligation price, is in excess of around £15 million. So that's one. Another potential departure we've been talking about, Pablo Fornals from West Ham United to Real Betis. At the moment, there is a significant gap in valuation between what West Ham want and what Real Betis are prepared to pay. We think that Fornals is open to this move, but as it stands, unless Real Betis significantly improve that offer, then there's a likelihood that Pablo Fornals will stay beyond the end of this transfer window at West Ham United. He's still got 18 months left on his contract, so a bit of breathing space for West Ham United, that if they did want to sell in the summer, he'd still have 12 months left on his contract to be able to negotiate a deal. With regard to incomings, it's looking increasingly difficult, maybe increasingly unlikely as well. They were pursuing deals for Jota from Al Ittihad and Nordsjælland's forward Ibrahim Osman. Both of those look very, very problematic to do right now.
Ah, right, OK. We'll keep an eye, though. Brighton, Mahmoud Dahoud. Is he on his way out of the club?
Right. The information I have at the moment is Sky Germany have now got pictures of Mahmoud Dahoud landing in Stuttgart. So he has arrived in Germany. But it should be noted here, this deal has not been finalised yet. I think what has happened is they want to just get him over there in case they can agree this deal. The representatives of Dahoud are in the UK. They're in Brighton. They're talking to Brighton officials to try and thrash out this deal. It would be a loan with an option to buy in the summer. The reason I think that he's been sent out there just now is because the German transfer window shuts at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So we've got less than 24 hours for a deal like that to happen. You remember he joined on a free transfer, having seen out his contract at Borussia Dortmund in the summer. He started just 9 games in all competitions for Brighton this season. But all parties, we think, are willing to make this move happen. That's
a great shout. Germany at 5, and I think Italy's before ours as well. Yeah. Who's the Southampton player who's heading to Serie A?
Really, really interesting one, this. Southampton midfielder Carlos Alcaraz has been having medical tests in London ahead of a potential move to Juventus. Now, all being well, he'll fly to Turin tonight to finalise that move. The deal is a loan with an option to buy for Juventus in the summer. We think the loan fee is around £3 million and the option price could be worth up to £45 million, which would mean a £40 million guaranteed payment plus £5 million in performance-related add-ons.
That's big money for a championship club.
And, well, Southampton have been selling pretty well, and people thought they're selling the likes of, Romeo Lavia, James Ward-Prowse, and now Carlos Alcaraz for big, big money. Are they going to be able to challenge? Well, they're just off the automatic promotion places just now, so it looks like it's working.
Real quick, Norwich, 1 in, 1 out?
Yeah, Celtic have agreed a loan deal with Norwich City to buy their forward Adam Eder. Sorry, on a loan deal, I should say. It's understood there's no option to buy in this deal. He was taking a medical in London today. Meanwhile, Bologna striker Sidney van Hooijdonk, familiar name, he's due in the UK for a medical ahead of his loan with an option move to Norwich.
Got to go. Brilliantly done. Back in a moment.